Hi, my name's Patricia, and I'm also known as Haute Couture. This is my little corner of the internet where I talk about the things that I'm making. I'm coming to you from Darug country um, in Australia. So if you are interested in hearing about someone who likes to knit, I do so, but predominantly knit. And you like being shown projects that are making progress, or wool that's been acquired, or planned projects, then stick around. That's kind of what I'm going to be talking about today. Um, yeah, so welcome. Um, First off, we have the Hadley, and she's oversized and cozy, and I really, really, really love it. I think I probably won't make this pattern again. I don't very much often go for a super boxy fit, but I am okay with having one in my wardrobe that I can wear. The Newton has been really nice at this gauge. I think this is like a 14 or 15 stitch gauge, which means it's like, I think it's probably more than worsted, and Arana might teeter on bulky, but I think for that kind of unspun yarn, and I think you'll be able to tell here, you can get away with that because it puffs up during blocking and fills it out. Why do I mention this? Because this type of wool at a bigger gauge I have found to be entirely okay to wear. Like, I don't overheat in this. Could also be because it's like super loose, so there's a lot of air circulating. But yeah, so if you've been thinking about knitting with unspun, give it a go. I think if you've not worked with unspun at all, my suggestion would be for you to think about whether or not you like a more rustic wool. You can do that by knitting like an accessory or something small, or even just having a piece of that yarn or fiber like next to skin for a little bit, just to see whether you find it itchy or not. Yeah. Before I go on, I'm just gonna have a sip of my tea in my new thrifted mug. She's so cute. It's a sheep shearing scene. Yeah, this is the coolest thing I've found thrifting. There's another one that I found which was like little cats that were playing with balls of yarn. And so I always check out the porcelain or like crockery section in the thrift store, and this was great. And it's like stamped made in Australia. It was meant to come in a set of two. I just grabbed the cup, so I didn't realize if it meant I have missed out on a second cup. I didn't see a second cup, obviously, but I may go back just to see if there's anything there. So at the moment, I'm just wiping a bit of honey off my cup. So I'm having some honey lemon tea because we've been fighting a little bit of a seasonal virus down here in true form the last week before spring. Yeah, it's been bucketing down rain, and all the illnesses have come out to play. So yes, enough of that tangent though. So Hadley, yes, love it. Yes, definitely play with unspun if you can. I think it's great. I'm just going to adjust the camera. I think it's definitely worth trying. And I did this holding it double, so I didn't need to hold it with mohair, and it was pretty good. The one thing that I do admit is that I don't do any kind of tubular bind offs on these. I just did stretchy bind offs on all of it because I am not about that life. It's tedious with unspun. It can break really easily, so it wasn't going to happen. So that's it for finished items today. Although I did mention it last week, but I didn't get to show you properly. I showed you photos. The next thing is my works in progress. So I'm reaching down to grab it. I have been like furiously knitting away at the iris. And what that means is I am now very far along compared to where I was last time I showed it to you guys. It is, I'll see if I can take I think I have a photo of where I am, but this is like 2 full repeats, and I did an extra repeat of, let's see if I can hold this half so it's a bit better. So 1 repeat, 2 repeats, and then I added the brown band, which has made this longer than what the pattern calls for. So this is going to sit and hit me probably below the top, like mid hip bone, I reckon, but might go even below my hip. So the hem is meant to be, this is my insides, sorry. The hem is meant to be 6 centimeters, and the hem is knit in cloud, whereas the background color for the color work is cream. So it's like really slight difference in them. So anyway, it says to go for a 6 centimeter hem. So that's what I'm slowly doing. I've just kind of not fatigued. I think like the hem's boring, so I've like done a bit. I haven't measured how much I've done. I reckon it's probably like 2 centimeters, so maybe an inch. And I hadn't put it down because you might remember last time I said that if I would get through something, I might cast something on. So oh, watch this space. But we have the iris, and she is glorious. She just needs sleeves after I do the hem, and I'm pretty sure that that's going to go by quite quickly. So super pleased, still in love with her. So that's where that is. And I think I showed you the Stockholm last time. So that is now joined. What have I got going on here? That is now joined in the round. So I have finished all the drop shoulder shaping. And the front, oh, it's all squished. You won't be able to tell too well. And that's missing the neckband. But I've joined in the round. I have a fair amount to go, and this has like body shaping as well. I didn't realize that. So I have to pay attention to counting how many rounds before I do any kind of decreases. But I think this is going to be a good one, like a good staple to wear. And it's just kind of there in the background for now. I put it on pause because I cast on something new. And I told myself that until I reach a certain point in the new item, I'm allowed to work up to a certain point in the new item, and then I have to go back and finish the hem first of the iris and pick up a sleeve. So I'm not going to do these 2 at a time, even though I could. I really could do them 2 at a time because I have the knitting for olive balls. Do I want to? No, I'll do them 1 at a time. So I told myself, like, once I get to a certain point in this new pattern that I've cast on, I then have to prioritize the hem on the iris. After I've finished the hem on the iris and picked up for one of the sleeves, I then have to do some of the shaping on this. So like add some length in the round. So it's going well. I powered through those charts. Sorry, I put this where the camera's resting, which is why it's shaken a bit. I got to do a lot of the knitting because we had a road trip down to the snow over the weekend, last weekend, and it was beautiful. It was raining, not raining, it was snowing. And it was so much white everywhere, and because it's a long road trip from where I live, I got a lot of knitting done in the car, and I managed to hit the end of the colorwork chart like day one that we were at the snow, and then I kind of decided to add the extra brown motif on the bottom, which is what they've done in the sample as well, and a few people have done that. I had a look at some of the project pages, and a lot of people had worked per the instructions, which is very clear. It's 2 chart repeats, and the chart ends with the flowers. So you have like the flowers and the stem, and that's it. And the sample has like an extra band of the like brown or soil motif, or diamonds if you want to call them that. And so I looked through project pages. Some people had left the like brown motif or the diamond motifs off before the hem. Others had added it like the sample. I think it depends on your personal taste on which you liked. I liked the fact that it was like framing the body with the brown. So at the top you have brown, and then at the bottom you have the diamond motif, or brown, which is what I'm saying here. So I think that looked quite nice, but I can fully appreciate like a seamless transition from like the background color into the hem color if you're using, especially if you're using the Holst Coast recommended yarn. I think it's Coast. Or was it just, no, I think it was, sorry, it was Holst Super Soft. So if you're using that, it might make sense to kind of do that way. I didn't like it personally. I think I would have gravitated towards leaving that diamond motif off if I had chosen different colors. So if I'd had like a dark background color, I may have done just a continuous without an additional motif at the bottom before the hem. So what I am going to do is, I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but what I am going to do is at the end, I've decided to do like a little bit of a project feature shout out. So I will try to remember to do this, which is for every pattern that I talk about that's a whip or a planned project or a finished object, I will pick from the like completed projects pages on Ravelry. I should also look at Instagram, so I'll try and remember to do that for the next one. I'll pick the one that I liked, that jumped out at me, in terms of like an alternate version to what I did. Just for fun, because I do like to look at project pages and read project notes. I think it's a good way to offer up a different perspective on a project that I've made. Maybe you don't like the colors that I've picked, but you might like a different perspective on it. And so that's just my way of sharing, and just doing something a little bit different that, shares a bit more. Maybe you'll find someone on there that you'll connect with, or you'll start following them. Entirely up to you. It's more about showcasing like a different version of the pattern that person's chosen to finish, which I think is pretty cool. So I'll be doing that for the Hadley, the Iris. I haven't picked it for the Stockholm this time, maybe next time. Yeah, and I think I'll do one for my cast on, which is what I'm going to talk about now. So we all heard me talking about I might cast on. I'm in love with the Princess Diana sweater that I want to make, etc. By the way, this week, Caitlin Hunter from Boiler Knits, or Knitsworks, released the Ovis sweater, and it is so cute. I have a sheep thing going at the moment, so I think I purchased the pattern. I will down the line probably make a version of that at some point. Not now though. Princess Diana comes first. So we have my Color Mart Merino yarn cone. It's meant to be like a light DK. I don't know. It feels not that. A second ball, which I'm using to hold it double. And we're being rebellious and chaotic and courageous. We are making blouse number 1 in a completely different fiber than what the pattern calls for, in a completely different fiber than most people have chosen. It's entirely out of merino, and in black. So it's got a contiguous. This is going to annoy me. It's got 1 minute. The contiguous method for shoulders. So I don't know why I was going to pause that again. That's silly. So I've told myself once I get to sleeve separation, I need to put it down. It knits up really quickly. I do like how the shoulders show. Black is not going to show up at all on this, so you're probably going to have to wait until it's finished. I'm excited for this. I'm excited to be able to wear this to work. I think you might be able to see. So along here is where you're increasing for the shoulders. It's a boat neck style. I really like this. I may make it in silk, but it won't be the same color. It'll probably be like a copper color, I think, unless they bring out like a Merlot or claret or claret colorway in the silk. Yes, I'm talking about knitting for Olive. And then yeah, but we'll see. Fully aware that by picking merino, it's not going to have the same drape as silk. I did see some interesting variations on blends that people were using. Some people used the cotton merino by Knitting for Olive, held double. Others did 1 strand of cotton merino and 1 strand of silk. Some did 1 strand of just plain merino with 1 strand of silk. So everyone's kind of played a little bit around with the fiber in order to achieve the garment, which ends up with a really nice blend, because I think a few patterns that are coming out are doing that now, where you're holding strands of 2 different fiber types to achieve like a different overall textile, which makes sense. Like we do it all the time with holding mohair and wool double. So why wouldn't you hold a cotton with a merino to kind of influence the outcome of the garment? So 2 strands of merino. I'm pretty sure this is superwash. I don't know. We're going to say it's superwash. I got it from a D-stash. I think it's going to be a really good staple where I just want to throw it on top of jeans or wear it to work when I can't make up my mind. I think what I might even do is try it on when it gets to like a semi, like a, call it like a longer crop length, and see how that's going to sit with my work clothes. It may be complete, like it's probably going to grow when I block it, right? So I have to think about this a bit, because it's meant to also have negative ease across the bust. And so I need to manage that with any kind of lengthwise growth. So I will deal with that when I get to that part. But for the most part, what I really want to do is just have it all ready so that I can see how it wears and use up some of this cone. Like, I have a lot of black in my wardrobe, which was my thinking behind getting black, like a cone. Because I like, I'll make like a top, I'll make a tee, I'll make you know, a lento in all black. Like, it'll be fine. I'll have like heaps to use it with. And even though it's practical, I don't reach for it. And so I kind of decided I really wanted a blouse number one. And I was going to make it in black. And that's how we've ended up on the path we're on right now. So watch this space. Hopefully by the next update, I would have at least cast on a sleeve for the iris. You like my bag? I follow them on Instagram. I highly recommend. They source like vintage and secondhand designer goods. It's beautiful. So I digress. Hopefully by next time I have progressed on the blouse number one. I have finished the hem of Iris, or she's going to be angry, and I've done at least like one sleeve, picked up for one sleeve on that, and maybe progressed the Stockholm a little bit. That one's kind of like a, what would we call it? Like a little bit of a mini palette cleanser, like in between, because I kind of have a self-imposed deadline for the blouse number one. I really want to be able to start to wear it as the season changes, and because it knits up so quickly, it's like on a 16 or 18 stitch gauge. I just kind of want to get it done. So yeah. Looking around to see if there was anything else I need to show you. No, I think that's it for whips. Yeah. So on that note, as promised, I'm gonna put my eyes on so I'm not squinting. I'm going to talk through some of the projects that I've saved into a bundle on Ravelry. So if you do use that platform, I'll make sure that that bundle is like visible if you want to go in and suss it out, and I'll try and put photos up as well. Where are we? Favorites. So I created a bundle that's called August 25 update. Oh, sorry, August 25 update 2 bundle. So in there I've added let me get this out of the way, the Ovis sweater, because I did mention it. I really like this. It's so pretty. I can imagine it in like a dark background. So like a charcoal or a dark grey, or even like a black, and the sheep color being like a lighter grey. So it's not a super high contrast, but it's still, excuse me, it's still like a nice mix. So that's the Ovis that's going to be in this pattern bundle, and I'll put a link in the description below. I flicked through the Hadley. Some of them looked really good. I don't know why this one caught my attention. it was just like a plain grey version of it, which is similar to what the sample was made of. I think the sample was cream. But I liked this, and the person made it from Gilead, from De Rerum Natura, and I thought that was an interesting alternative to consider. I hadn't thought about that because I do have like a bundle of that yarn in a darker forest green, and I had planned to do something else with it. Now, I did just say I'm not going to make another Hadley, but it got me thinking maybe I should check the pattern pages sooner, because then I could have used up that yarn. The next project, community project, oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you who'd made it. Her name's Anne Killer on Ravelry. Yeah, so really nice, like, project, finished project for that pattern. Love. The next one that, like, is an iris sweater version. Now this person's called Gabby SH on Ravelry, and oh my god, their color choice for this is like, I die. Like, I did see this when I had already bought my yarn, and I was like, I could make another one. Like, technically I could make another one, but this is like so beautiful. It's purely focused on greens. They've done a contrasting collar in green. They've got like a sage green, foresty green. They've still got the brown in the diamonds, and their flower motif is orange, and it just works really, really well. This is a great photo, and they played around with the idea of navy too, which I thought was interesting, but they've obviously canned it and ended up with brown. Love it. And they're using yarn I haven't heard of before, Soki B-Tex. They must be like playing through their stash. This is awesome. She says, I'm using thicker yarn than the one suggested in the pattern. I'm knitting out of gauge, so I decided to go one size down to compensate. And she's named the colors. It's great. It's beautiful. There were others. There were ones that people had like dark backgrounds, and they were beautiful too. The next one is a version of the badger sweater, which is what I wore in the last episode. So I thought I would show you an alternative version of it. Everyone knits it in the natural neutral tones. This person has gone for like this beautiful deep purple, and they've done the wrist detailing as well, and it's just really nice. Their handle is Trin-Annelie, and it's 2 eyes on Tina, and they're using the Fiber Co yarn as well as Bishop Bush, and she's got a really beautiful write-up of the project. She's another pattern I fell in love the moment I saw it, and I love, love, love my new sweater. I bought the book. It's my first time knitting with Fiber Co and Bishop Bush. I fell in love with Vivian's version, and I had to copy her yarn and colors, so they've obviously been inspired by someone else. But she's like so, so pretty. She's done some really pretty photos too. So shout out to what's her name again? Trin-Annelie. It was great. And I've pulled out also a Blouse #1 version, and made purely out of soft merino. And good thinking on her notes. She wrote, I went with a wool yarn instead because it has better memory, and I wanted something slightly more fitted. So she's made it says she's made an extra small. Their name is Amaguihart. Amaguihart, like I'm a sweetheart. Is that what that is? It's so cute if that is. Yeah, it's so pretty. She's like, her photos are so pretty, like the back neck detailing. This is kind of how I want my black one to look. So I'm so excited that my one may turn out like this. It's wonderful. And then lastly, the penny gloves that I showed you last week. I looked through the project pages and I saw a version made by someone called Mimi Soris. And Mimi, like, nails on point, ring game on point. So of course the gloves were going to be awesome. She's done a bit of a like mild fade around the wrist and then kept the part that goes around your hands and your fingers plain. And I thought that was a really beautiful, creative way of doing something different with this pattern. I even think that's just mohair. So props to Mimi. So like I said, I'll link this bundle in the description box so you can have a peek around at who I've called out. And I'll try and remember to do that in the following episodes as well. So I think with that, I don't really have anything else to add. You're all caught up. You can see I'm working on my stuff. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, tell them that you're not a summer knitter. I'm not a summer knitter. A few videos have come out where people are like, I'm planning for spring and I'm so excited and I love plant fibers. That's not me. And I'm not going to apologize for that. So if you need some of that content, I'm sure you'll find a flurry of it with the other creators in the community. You may get like the odd random thing from me, like a cotton merino tee at some point when I get to it. But it will be like color work and knitting and wool, and you may hear me like voice my disdain for plant fibers. Like I still have an unfinished project that's going, like, it's clocking into at least a year and a half now. And I just have sleeves left, and it's made from Holst Coast. I just have sleeves left. Like, she don't like it. She needs to, because it's one of Marcena's patterns, and I told her I would finish it, and yeah, I haven't finished it yet. Anyway, have a wonderful time, day, moment. Until the next time, I hope you're looking after yourselves. I hope you're being kind to each other. And remember, to be kind doesn't really cost anything. So always choose that when you can. And until next time, goodbye.